but why he went the first time in dating with her?
Right. He went to the Ari Miklat the first time.
He went for the same case. He went to someone.
He
Yeah,
went.
and he fell down into someone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now he happened
Exactly.
again the same flat.
Right. Right. It doesn't have to be exactly the same scenario, right? There are a number of scenarios. Good morning, Jaime.
Morning.
Morning. Good to see you. And it was nice having you on the phone conference yesterday.
It's a pleasure for me. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are on Yud Beit Damed Beis 12b. We're just starting the Mishnah. So we've got a new sugya now coming along. And the Mishnah talks about 12b3. The Mishnah is now talking about a guy was sent to the Ari Miklat. He had killed someone unintentionally, and he's sitting his time in the Ari Miklat, waiting until the Kohen Gadol will pass away. He needs kapara. He needs, one of the things that we establish is that by staying in the Ari Miklat, that's going to be an atonement for his sin that he did, because he could have been more careful and not have killed that guy unintentionally. The unintentional, and we know a lot of times in life, people hurt people unintentionally. But you know what? Many times it's not an excuse, because they could have done better. They could have been more careful not to hurt them unintentionally. So that, it's even interesting. And I was with somebody, Motzei Shabbat. We were in a pizza shop for Malava Malka, and we moved tables. And even moving a table, and you hit into somebody, you could have been more. Sometimes the person can say, I could have been more careful. I did not need to hit into it. It was unintentional. The table hit that person unintentional. But if you'll be a little more on top of your game, that wouldn't have happened either. That unintentional would not have happened. So every time a person does something unintentionally, and someone gets hit by it or hurt by it, the person has to ask themselves, was that something that I could have prevented, right? So here we're saying that the death of this person was something that could have been prevented. So now, as a result of that, he sits in exile. Now, while he's in exile, now we're starting the Mishnah. Hara on Yud Beis Damed Beis. Harag b'Ota'ir. He killed in the city of refuge. Now, what do we do for him now? He's already sitting time in the city of refuge because he killed person number one. Now he killed someone unintentionally again, the second time. So now what do we do with the guy? For him to stay in the same exact spot, that there's no change. There's nothing different happening in his life before he killed the second person and now. So what kapara is he having? Where is this? Where is this atonement? Where is a new kapara, new atonement for this new murder that he just did? So what do we say? We say he has to make a move. What does he do? So he goes to, but it's very good. So the problem is he can't leave this city, because if he leaves the city, the Gol Hadam, the relative might kill him. So he's going to go after him. So what does he do? He goes to a different neighborhood. He goes to a different area within the city of refuge. Good morning, Mr. Bitesh.
Good morning.
Okay.
So
He stayed in the same city of refuge. Let's say we said there are 48 cities of refuge. There's 42 cities of the Beteshes, of the Levium, and then there's also three on the other side of the Jordan, and there's another three that were mentioned that Yeshua separated. So if he's in any of those cities, if he's in the city of refuge, while he killed someone, Mr. Bitesh, we have a new case here in the Mishnah. Somebody's already sitting time in the city of refuge, and then he kills someone, a second person, unintentionally. So what does he do? So the Mishnah says he's goleh mishchuna. He goes from one neighborhood that he's in now to another neighborhood that he's in the same city, because he can't leave the city because the relative might kill him. So, but going to another neighborhood, he's uprooting his place. Just like I was at a Chanukah Tabayit last night in Englewood. So the man used to live in one place in Englewood. Now he's living in another place in Englewood, a different place. Okay, now the question is, he discussed what's called a new neighborhood. How do you define a shchuna? Does it mean, some say you got to go 3 houses away? We have to see exactly what the shchuna is shchuna. But the point is, you're in a different place. It's not the same. You're not in the same place anymore. And that in itself will serve as a kapara. That in itself will serve as an atonement by the fact that you're no longer in the same neighborhood that you were before. So you were comfortable. The guy who killed unintentionally became comfortable in the neighborhood that he was in. And now, because he killed the second person, he's going to have a kapara, but he has to move within his neighbor. He has to move to a different neighborhood, and that will serve as an atonement he's forced to move. It's not like people moved last night. The people moved from one place to another because they wanted to move. Nobody forced their hand. But here, as a result of him killing this person unintentionally, his hand is forced, and he has to be uprooted from his apartment, from his place where he is living now in the city of refuge to another neighborhood. And that's what do you say? And he's safe. He's safe from the Goel Hadam. But that's what's needed to be done for this situation where he killed the second person unintentionally. Yes, Aaron. In the neighborhood, as long as he's in the city of refuge, he's safe to move around. What'd you say? But yeah, but the guy wants to kill him. He can't enter the city of refuge to get him. So the guy, who's in the city? No. Again, the guy. Say it again. What's your question? The kid. What say, Mr. Patesh? Right. He's already in the city of refuge. In the city, he killed a second. It's a city of Leviim, and he was going up the ladder. No, this case of the mission is that he killed another person. It might be someone. It might be someone. But they can't. But they can't. Nobody could touch him if he's in the city of refuge. Even the relatives. Even though the relatives, no one could touch him. He's safe. Yes. Outside the city first, and then he had the city of refuge. That was. Right, exactly. Right, but again, but Mr. Batesh, he did it unintentionally. But you know what? Sometimes people don't learn their lesson. The point was, what's the reason why he's in the city of refuge? He killed unintentionally. He should have been more careful. So sometimes people who make mistakes once, they make the same mistake again. They're not yet there yet that they change their ways. So you're saying if he sounds fishy, this guy, he is fishy because he wasn't a careful guy to begin with, and he hasn't. Right, you're saying he's a dangerous guy because he's not a careful guy. That's true. It's a good point. But he's in the city of refuge. He's in a rehabilitation place now, and the point is that we are hoping that he will not do such things again unintentionally.
But he is judged by the court. Like the court finds him unintentional murder.
Yeah, but there's still that's the navid. The fact is that he still could have done something better. The thing is, he could have been more careful to prevent the death. If it was totally a total accident, he will not. He's not obligated to exile for that. Okay, the mission doesn't go to a third case, a third murder in the same. Now, the mission continues. Uben Levi. What about a Levi that his place, he lives in the city of refuge? So if he kills somebody, what does he do? Is he able to just go back home? Let's say he kills someone in the street. Ben Levi is out on the street. He's out somewhere in another city, and now he kills somebody in a different city, not a city of Levium. Now we know that the Levi city where he lives is the city of refuge. Do you think that he could just go back home and everything is fine and dandy? No, because even though his home, he lives in a city that's a place of refuge, but he needs kapara. He needs atonement because he killed someone unintentionally. So that Levi, if a Levi killed someone unintentionally, he will go to another city of refuge because he's allowed to be out. I mean, he was already out. He's not someone. The guy who killed once before, he can't leave that city because the Goel Hadam is going to, the relative is going to kill him if he leaves the city to go to another city. But this guy, the Levi who killed for the first time, he was never banned to the city of refuge. He never was there yet. He was not there yet. He didn't stop. He lived in the city of refuge. So the guy who lives in the city of refuge, where does he go if he killed somebody? He can't just go back home to his regular city. That's not going to do it for him. That's not going to be atonement. He goes to a different city of refuge. He goes to a different Levi city. That's what the Levi has to do. He has the opportunity to go to another city. That's the
All the cities of refuge.
all the Levi cities. They all belong to the Beteshis. Ben Levi, but if a Ben Levi went ahead and he killed unintentionally, Goleh, he goes Meir Le'ir. He goes from one city to a different city. He leaves his city, or he doesn't go back to his city. He goes to another city, and that will serve for him as a place of refuge. Now, so the Gemara says, Tana Rabbana. The Gemara wants to is going to discuss this issue. V'samti lecha makom. This is a pasuk in Mishpatim, where the pasuk says about if somebody kills unintentionally. And remember, Mishpatim is early on in Moshe Rabbeinu's career, right after the Torah. The laws of the Torah have been given. We're early on, so it says v'samti lecha makom. I'm going to give you a place. Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, I'm going to give to you a place, Asher Yonu Shama, that the guy who kills unintentionally will have a place to run to, a city of refuge. Hashem says to Moshe, so now we're going to see what that pasuk is referring to. Now, V'samti lecha, Hashem says to Moshe that there's going to be a place of refuge. You want it? We'll read the pasuk. The pasuk says, if somebody unintentionally kills somebody, I will give to you a place that he will run there. Right? So the obvious question is, morning, Jake. The obvious question is, what's the lecha I'm going to give to you, Moshe? It's really v'samti lo. If somebody, I will give to him a place. What's the emphasis of lecha? I'm going to give to you, Moshe, a place. Okay, very good. So the Gemara says the following. When it says lecha, I'm going to give it to you, that means b'chayecha. That means Moshe Hashem is saying to Moshe, during your lifetime, you are going to be the one to separate cities of refuge. Now, Hashem is giving Moshe this, so to speak, promising to Moshe that he's going to be a samti lecha makom. You are going to be having the ability to be connected with this mitzvah, as we find that Moshe in his lifetime, he separated cities of refuge. That's the samti lecha. I'm going to give you that opportunity. You're going to be involved in separating these cities. And then the pasuk says, lecha makom. It says, to you is the place. So that means the Gemara says, mimkomcha, from your place, from your camp, Moshe Rabbeinu, which Moshe lived in the camp of the Leviim. That was Moshe Rabbeinu's camp. The Leviim, he was part of the Levi camp. There was Machane Yisrael, you had the Mishkan, and then around the Mishkan, the people that lived right outside, right near the Mishkan, the Holy Tabernacle, were the Leviim. They were right outside. They lived right next door. They were the neighbors of the Mishkan, and outside of them was the Jewish community. So the pasuk says, "Mimkomcha," from your makom, that samti lecha makom. The place of refuge will be from your place. That means so this would mean that we're going to see that the cities of refuge will be from Moshe Rabbeinu's cities, from the Leviim. The Leviim will be the ones Who will be the ones that are going to be the hosts of the people who killed unintentionally? V'samti l'cha makom. From you, the Levium will be the place. Not only will they be the place, the cities of refuge will be from the Levium, that even the camp of the Levium, which is a temporary type of camp over here that we're setting up, the camp that we're having in the desert, that is going to be the place that is going to serve as a place of refuge as well. Remember, we had someone asked the question, Rabbi, what happened in the desert? If someone killed someone unintentionally, what happened? Because the Gemara said that the cities that Moshe Rabbeinu designated, the 3 cities that Moshe Rabbeinu designated on the other side of the Jordan, and the 3 cities did not take effect. Those 3 cities they designated did not take effect until they came to the other side, and they passed over the Jordan, and they designated eventually the other 3 cities. Until the 3 cities were designated when they passed into Eretz Israel, the 3 cities of Moshe did not take effect. However, the camp of the Levium already took effect. The camp where the Levium lived, not the cities that Moshe designated on his side of the Jordan. The cities with the camp of the Levium already served as a city of refuge for anybody who killed unintentionally. Once the Torah was given, those 40 years in the desert, if somebody killed somebody, where would he run? To where the Levium are living. That served as a place of refuge. Rabbi,
any thoughts that they put them with the Leviim so that they would be closer to Torah and Musar, maybe?
I think that's what I've heard, that idea. Yes, correct. The Levium were the teachers of Torah. The Levium were the people like living in Kolel. The Levium they were the ones who were learning Torah, teaching Torah. They were hanging out at the Mishkan. They were singers in the Beit HaMikdash. They were the gatekeepers. They took care of the gates. They represented the holy people. And look, Moshe Rabbeinu came from the Leviim. We know he was from that was the tribe. The Leviim were the tribe that did not serve the golden calf. So this is the holiest tribe in the Jewish community throughout from the time of the golden calf, which the golden calf was very early on, was right after they came out of Egypt. Not long that year that they came out of Egypt is when they worshiped the golden calf. Morning, David.
Morning.
So, Jaime, we got David just walked in. So that generation of the golden calf early on was so they already made the decision to be holy and not to worship the golden calf. So therefore, these are the holiest tribe, and that's where the Kohanim come from. Kohanim come from there. Leviim come from there. These are the holiest people in the community, and therefore the special laws for the Kohanim, as we know, they can't marry certain women. They can't marry because of certain. They didn't become the Kohanim. No, but the Kohanim come from the tribe of the Leviim. Aaron HaKohen is from the tribe of Levi. He's from right. But Moshe Rabbeinu he did when they set up the Mishkan. Right, but he was right. He was Aaron. Aaron became the Levi group. Yes, from the Levi tribe came the Kohanim. That's where the Kohanim come from. No, so Hashem made them Kohanim, and they took over. They told the story of the golden calf. The firstborns were the ones who would do the service. They were the religious leaders. Once the golden calf sin was done, the firstborns lost their position of being they were like the priests. They were like the ones that were leading the service, and now the Levium took over, and the Kohanim became the Kohanim got positions. Aaron was appointed by Hashem to be the Kohen Gadol. Okay, so the Gemara says, Asher Yonu Shama. It says that this is the place This, I'm going to give you a place that Shayanus Shama. They should flee. They're going to run there. That means Malamei Shehiyoseel Maglin B'Midbar. It teaches us that in the desert, the Jewish community, if they killed someone unintentionally, they would run to exile. Where is the exile in the desert? The city of the Levium, where the Levium camp. They would go over there. Now, and the Gemara said, it says there's something Hashem says, I'm going to give you a place, Moshe. I'm going to give you a place, Ashayana Shama, that the guy is going to run over there. I'm going to give you a place that the murderer is able to run. Where is that place, Moshe? No, because the Gemara is explaining the pasuk.
Where the Levim would run. Because the Mishnah is we're talking about someone who kills, right?
Right? Correct. But the Mishnah spoke about someone who killed B'shogeg, right? The Gemara and the Mishnah says if somebody killed someone unintentionally, the Mishnah says he goes from one neighborhood. If a guy was already sitting in a city of refuge, the Mishnah says, he goes from one neighborhood to another neighborhood. So our Gemara is going to say that the same thing with this also with a Levi. The Gemara is going to say this that a Levi also has a similar situation, that a Levi also has to move around. The same way our Mishnah stated that if somebody who's already sitting in jail, so to speak, want to call it that, sitting in the city of Levium because he killed unintentionally, he has to move around. If he killed the second person, he can't stay in his neighborhood. He has to move from one neighborhood to another neighborhood. So our Gemara is going to also say that a Levi, the Gemara is also going to say is going to say that the same thing is by a Levi. We're going to see more about this in the Gemara. So the Gemara says that Lehecha Maglin, where do they go to exile? The Machane Levia. They're going to go to exile when Hashem says to Moshe, I'm going to give you a place that they're going to run to. That means it's going to be in your lifetime. They're going to have a place to run. And it's going to be, where is that place that they're going to run when Moshe is alive? They're going to go to the camp of the Levium. Mikan Amru, and the rabbi said, from here, from this pasuk, the rabbi says, Ben Levi Shaharag. If a son of a Levi killed, that means someone from the Levi family killed, Goleh mipelech lepelech. He has to go from one city to another city. Why? Because the pasuk says, it's because it says in the pasuk, V'samti lecha makom. I'm going to give to you, Asamti lecha, you the Leviim, Moshe, your tribe is going to have a place also to go. That means if you, Moshe's tribe, a Levi kills somebody, he doesn't just go back home to his regular city. He also, I'm going to give you a place that you have to go travel to. And therefore they have to go to another city. V'im golal lepilcho, but let's say he didn't go to another city. He went back home. He went back to his city, but he went to a different neighborhood in the city. What would be by a Levi? We said a Levi is supposed to go to another city of refuge. So Levi kills for the first time, right? He goes. He doesn't go back to his own city. He goes to another city. But what about if he doesn't go back to another city, but he goes to another neighborhood in his city? It also would work. It's not the ideal thing, but the Gemara says, his city would, the neighborhood would accept him. He would be safe from the Goel Hadam. That even though he's supposed to go ahead and go to another city, even though that's the ideal, but if he goes to his city and he goes to a different neighborhood, just like a person who killed previously is sitting in exile, he goes to another neighborhood that's good enough for him. So the Levi also, if he doesn't go to another city, as long as he goes to another neighborhood, it also would work for him. And the Gemara says, how do you know that? The Gemara says, Oma Rav Acha B'rei Rav Ika, Mikra. Where does the pasuk teach us this law that the Levi who killed, that even if he doesn't go to another city, he's safe as long as he goes to another neighborhood? So the Gemara says, Ki be'ir miklato yeshe. The city of his refuge, he will remain, he will sit. The pasuk, the parasha is talking about cities of refuge. The pasuk could have just said, Hisham yeshe, he will sit there. Why does the pasuk have to mention he'll sit in the city of refuge? You already told me we're talking about the cities of refuge. So if you tell me he will sit there, it obviously means the city of refuge. So the Gemara says that means to say Ir Shekal, the city of refuge, meaning the city that he already lives, that's already a city of refuge. He will be able to remain there as long. It will also serve as protection for him as long as he goes to another neighborhood. Ir Shekal Kvar, a city that already has already had him there because he already lived there. The city that he once lived, the city that he previously lived, which is already a city of refuge, but a Levi lives in the city of refuge. Ir miklato yeshev. He remains in the city that already got him once, already had him. Because the city where he lives is already a city that's a city of refuge. Right. And you would now we say, right, you would say you can't say right, and therefore the pasuk is teaching you that even if he doesn't leave his city, as long as he goes to another neighborhood in the city, he is safe. Oh, so that's a good question. How do you identify what's called a neighborhood? So I saw somewhere that someone said as long as you move at least 3 houses away or something, maybe we'll see tomorrow more about how to define the neighborhood. That doesn't seem like too far of a move, right? Okay, have a great day, everybody. Thank you. Take care. Jaime, have a great day.
Rabbi, that will.
You too.